Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because, Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh, God.
There's no doll left.
You got to watch it. You got to hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this
say
video
it
needs
like
to
that.
go over
Don't
there,
say it like that.
And share the video. We got to keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
Like, I want to dive into her deep pool and swim around in her labia.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console. There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
Who writes someone that's a genius and that everybody is over there sucking her toes, and then you got to come over here and then say something ridiculous like, hey, victimize me, daddy.
It has shown us one thing. The fake fans, the stands, they show up. They showed up for all of these. But they're not an audience.
Nope.
They're a bunch of weirdos hanging out in a parking lot watching each other do weird shit.
Oh, God.
I don't know where I come up with these. They just happen.
Are you out there watching them watch them?
I can hear them from where I am. That's the
Oh.
A lot of squelching.
Yeah. Listen, at least I don't have to clean it up. That's good. Let me do it myself here. Let me get it up real quick. Hey, shut up. Shut up. I didn't mean it like that, you perverts.
And I got to say, any person who uses a Funko Pop or gets a Funko Pop immediately disqualifies themselves from any fan discussion.
Unless you're getting it for a mocking reason to make fun of something.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Or if it's a gift from someone.
Both of y'all suck. I hate you both.
If it's a gift from someone who doesn't know better, that's fine. I have a couple of those. But if you're going out collecting Funko Pops,
no, you're retarded. Funko Pops are awesome. I hate myself. I have a problem.
I got loads of them.
You're a girl. You're allowed to do it. You're a girl.
It's okay for girls. Yeah, they're exempt. Dre, this is not okay. We need to have an intervention.
I have a problem. I've got no shame.
Liar!
There was high top fade, Dre. There's been so many over the years. Cornrows, all of them.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul go, baby. Feeling oh so silky smooth.
But I also hate you a little because you go and make it your business to try to make fun or try to get in. Yes, exactly. Half-breed putting her crotch in my face.
I dangled for too long there. That wasn't fun.
This is why I do crystal meth.
You know what? There is a single reason why I wouldn't want to become a merman. I wouldn't have my penis anymore.
Oh, you will taste and see that I am delicioso.
I'm not gonna try and win hearts and minds. Pretend I'm something I'm not. Like a video game. No, it's bullshit. Not real.
Two things. One thing is guaranteed to happen, Adam. I'm going to get naked. Either way, either from celebration or depression, I'm getting naked in some way, shape, or form. It's happening. Period. Not up for debate. It's happening.
Ooh, so exciting.
Listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The only reason the world hasn't probably imploded is because of porn. Because you take away the porn, World War IV happens. We're going to skip over World War III. We're going right to World War IV. All right? We need release. We need relaxation. We need things. Whatever scratches your itch, whatever gets you going, whatever gets a rise out of you. As long as you keep it to yourself and you're not hurting anybody else, especially kids, more power to. I don't care if you're a goddamn furry. I just want to see it. But people need their release to stay calm, to stay relaxed. All right? You take that away, enjoy an actual revolution where people of all sides don't agree on anything, will come together and say, no, I'm not living under this world where I can't touch myself. All right? No, this is the reality we live in. It's just there. And as long as nobody's getting hurt, everybody's having a good time. Just because you are either a frigid or an erectile dysfunctional is not a problem that I care about. All right? And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
I regret nothing.
Everybody in the chat, you gotta like the video just for that clip.
You gotta get it up for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we got to do that. Oh my
Hail and
God.
howdy, everybody. Welcome to another round table where you get moments like that. You never know when they're going to happen. I don't know where that stuff blooms from in my very, very strange mind, but I have no shame. I regret nothing. And we're here to have fun and good time. And we're here to roast the things that are terrible in our own unique way. We hope you've had a comfortable weekend so far. I think I'm coming down with something. I haven't felt quite right all day today. I hope I'm not getting sick. I really do. I don't want to get sick. I hate getting sick. Either way. Hi, Jed. Hi.
Hi.
How you feeling?
I am not feeling well. I am sick to my soul. I had the immense misfortune of watching Captain America Brave New World last night. I didn't get home till after midnight. It was not a fun experience. So many wild things happened with it, from the audio not working to the theater saying that the room was sold out to 12 people only showing up. And my favorite part is when the film closed, the only other group of people in my second row from the front with me, because they said it was sold out, so we had to move to the front. The only other people there, a black guy in that group, stood up as soon as the movie ended and goes, "Yo, that was poop." And that was my favorite part of the film, though.
Well, I have also suffered it as well. I've got 2 reviews up because there was some copyright issues, and I thought the original would not get through my fixes internally through YouTube Editor, but then it did. So I had posted another one. So there are 2. Watch them both. Whatever. Thank you, everybody who's watched them and liked them and commented. I leave them both up because they each got unique comments, and everybody left a comment deserves to have their comment visible for the world to see. So they're both up. Watch whichever one you want, as long as you watch it. Dre, you didn't watch this stuff.
Oh no, sir.
But you did get naked last weekend, didn't you?
I most definitely, undisputedly disrobed. Absolutely. So I've had myself a good week. Only thing I regret is I couldn't go to Pennsylvania for the parade on Friday. That's the only thing I regret, because I would have made that trip. But I've had a good week. Eagles, Super Bowl champs. I didn't have to suffer through Black Captain Falcon. And like one of my homies went to go see it, and he was texting me throughout the entire joint. He was like, "Yo, I might actually start hurting myself in the theater." I'm like, "Good Lord, sir." I said, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" But yeah, it's been a good week. And I'm eating my carrots again because I went so crazy on Sunday. I may have got a concussion. May have got a concussion running around going crazy. So I got to make sure I restore my vision.
Yeah, I watched it myself. We were hanging out in Discord, and I went in there purely just to hang out because, like, well, everybody's in here in Discord, so I'm just gonna play video games. I don't really care. And I'm gonna make dinner. But I was treated to the fact that Dermy was suffering so much as Kansas City lost that I actually got into it, and it was a joy to torture him for most of it. I had to leave at the very end to go do something else, but it was a joy. And he threatened to off himself, and I said, "Well, do you want help?"
I wish I would that.
That was very similar to my experience. This is the first Super Bowl I'd seen in over 5 years. Like, I don't follow football, but after the meetup, there's a Geeks and Gamers watch party, and Ryan from RK Outpost was the only person out of the 20 people there supporting the Chiefs, and he went into it thinking, yeah, y'all just cringe for saying that they're bad. Y'all just cringe saying that Taylor Swift is going to ruin this. I'm rooting for them just because y'all are cringe. That was his motivation. He didn't actually care about the Chiefs. He just wanted to be contrarian, and it was glorious to see everyone just railing on him. No, most people didn't even care that the Eagles won. They were just coming up with jokes to make fun of him. And the one that bothered him the most was calling the running back of the Eagles, or one of them, the new Tom Brady, and that was just killing him. That was just killing him.
The quarterback, Jed. That'd be the quarterback.
No, I realized that Tom Brady was the quarterback, but they were specifically talking about someone else, and that's what was confusing me. It was the guy who's doing all the runs and like making them.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, they were calling him Saquon Brady.
Ah!
That's a good trolling. That is some good trolling.
It was beautiful. That was the only reason I really enjoyed the game, just watching Ryan die inside, slink into his chair while everyone was just making fun of him.
And that's the thing. I mean, Dermy keeps going, I want to end myself. I don't want to live anymore. And we just kept going, oh, look, another interception. He's like,
oh, my God. Oh, man.
I actually enjoyed the experience because everybody was having a lot of fun making fun of Dermy and just having the narrative be flipped on what was going to happen. But it was entertaining. I'll give it that.
Good.
But I was disappointed by everything else around it. We got no good trailers.
None.
The commercials were weird and messed up.
Especially the seal one.
No, well, the seal one was actually amusing. The worst one was that cowboy flesh hat thing.
Oh, yeah, that one was weird.
What the heck was that
the
about?
bull one. The way it went through like the conception and pregnancy too. That was the weird one.
Yeah, that stuff was it was messed up. And I expected, and I was wrong about this. And by the way, guys, we are going to have a guest. Drew Outstanding will be joining us. He's running a little late. We do have a guest today. And Dragon Lady has the weekend off because she had to take care of some personal stuff. But what got me was the fact that I thought there was going to be a real Superman trailer. I thought they were going to drop a Superman story trailer because you had all eyes. Oh, no, all they did was drop Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner in a 2-second thing during the Puppy Bowl. Go in. I think I still have it. Hang on a second.
That was weird, yeah.
I think I still have it in my bookmarks. Hold on a second. Let me see. I think I've been saving it.
Commercial that still. I think there was one Doritos commercial where there was aliens coming to kidnap a guy, but it actually wanted the Doritos instead, and he like held on to it, and then don't launch like a catapult and like destroy the spaceship. That was kind of fun. I don't know what they got to do with Doritos, but it was kind of fun.
And then there was the halftime show as well, which was a little underwhelming. Like, I wasn't a fan of the music, but it was more just the setting. Like, as much as I'm not a fan of The Weeknd, I did see The Weeknd's halftime show a few years ago, and that one was just very dynamic. The sets were cool. Like, there was some artistic in the presentation. This one was just kind of weird.
It is weird because Kendrick Lamar has recently become a superstar because he beefed with Drake, and which was just such a bizarre thing because the whole song is about Drake being a pedophile.
Yeah.
And everybody sung along. I'm just like, excuse me, I have a question. Where's the investigation? The entire planet just sang along saying that Drake is a pedophile.
Yeah.
And we're just like, okay. But like half times like this pissed me off because it was all politically charged and blackety. Like that stuff bothers me. Like,
and then they made it worse. The commentary is like, "Oh, you're a racist if you didn't like it." No, I don't care about that. I just thought it was boring and shit.
Yeah, it was boring. I didn't have fun. Now, Serena Williams crip walking, like I understand the significance of that because about 13, 14 years ago when she won in Wimbledon, she celebrated by doing a crip walk because that's where she's from, Compton, all that stuff. And then she was ridiculed for it because it was a black dance that she was doing. So I understand the significance of her doing that during the Super Bowl.
Mm.
I know some people had a problem with it, but for me, I understood where it came from because she was ridiculed for it.
But
Because
it felt disingenuous. They just threw it in there for like half a second on the camera. I was like, "What?" We're watching. Somebody was that Serena Williams? And I went, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was completely out of place. I get why it was done, but once again, when you have a politically charged halftime show, it pretty much just turns me off. I mean, granted, I'm not a fan of Kendrick either, but I just want to kick back and have fun and then see like random cameos. Like a few years ago when the Rams and the Bengals were in the Super Bowl and they had everybody from Aftermath, Eminem showed up and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. It was just a fun show. This was all that political nonsense.
The next day, I went back and I watched the Michael Jackson one and I watched the Prince one.
Those were good shows.
That's like actual talent. Now I did watch it. I think Michael was lip syncing during that. I think he was.
I don't know. I know a couple of songs he was.
Yeah,
but you know what else is a good one? Yeah. The Shakira J-Lo joint.
I don't like J-Lo. I never liked J-Lo.
I liked it. I used to love Shakira. That should be my Colombian girlfriend. So anything she's doing, I'm in. And she looks great. So I like that halftime show. But this one was trash. I agree.
Yeah. And they made a thing of it. But then also back to this was all we got for Superman during the Super Bowl. That's all we got. I mean, how this was a lot of things because in leading up to what we're talking about today, because we're going to talk about Black Falcon, Captain America, and they didn't even drop a real trailer during the Super Bowl. They dropped it the day later on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I commented on that, and I did a video on it. All Disney didn't do anything money-wise, spend any money on any trailers. They dropped like half a second trailers on a lot of stuff, nothing real. They showed another basically tease for How to Train Your Dragon, and they dropped another trailer a couple days later, which is still lying. A lot of people are buying into that the movie's a shot-for-shot remake. When we have actual articles, actual evidence where they're saying we're changing the movie.
Yeah, they've admitted to it.
So people still saying, "Oh, shot for shot, I think I'll be okay with this." No, please do your research or listen to us. Don't be fooled. This is not the movie you are expecting. So
I think the biggest thing that Disney did at the Super Bowl was that Lilo and Stitch deal where Stitch ran out on the field, and that's really not a whole lot when it comes to what they normally do at the Super Bowl. Because as much as I never watched the Super Bowl back in the day when I was looking forward to the MCU, I would always look forward to the Super Bowl because we get these trailers. That's what
we did get a
Disney made
trailer.
That's but they made it such big events for even nerds that Disney made a tradition out of it and then just kind of wimped out at the end.
And they didn't do anything Disney Star Wars.
No, definitely not.
I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, there'll be an Andor season 2 trailer," and then they were all crying when there wasn't. Because guess what? Disney will not spend any more money on something that's not going to make any more money.
Which is honestly a good call.
Well, yeah,
but
yeah.
Dre, did you see the new Thunderbolts trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Okay,
it didn't move the needle for me at all.
A quick question: do you have any idea who the villain's going to be? Like the people like disappearing and flattening out as shadows? I don't know what that's about.
Okay, so this is the only thing I can assume is that Sentry is going to be the villain / hero because Sentry does have two sides to him. When people were turning into shadows, that's Sentry's like evil side.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that's the route they're going. And then eventually Sentry's going to turn good. Now, here's the problem. Who of them jokers going to fight Sentry? The answer is none of them. Sentry is pretty much a godlike being, essentially. He's Superman. Let's call it like it is. He's Superman. All them dudes and ladies can do is shoot. That's it. So I don't know what the plot's going to be. I'm confused. Yeah, what Ruben actually put in the comments, Sentry / Void. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it's the two sides. That's the only thing that I can assume that Sentry's going to start off as a bad guy or somebody manipulating him.
He's
or
Bob.
whatever.
He's Bob. Yeah.
He's Bob. That's who Bob is. It's Century.
Yeah.
That's who Bob is.
That's all I got.
Before we keep going, we should say hi to the chat. Hail and howdy, chat. Thank you all for being here. Hail the goddess and Algram, my mods. You know the rant. One loves me, one hates me. Going on down those. Hail to you, Ruben X. Thank you for being here, my friend. Hail, Kale. She enjoyed the opener. She enjoyed it. She was there for it live when it happened. Hail, Frank Blazkowicz. How are you? Going on down, and that's everybody who's chatting. We got people who are just sitting, chilling. We're happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channels. Here's what we got in store for you guys, though. We are going to talk Black Falcon Captain America. Dre didn't see it, but I saw it. Jed saw it. I don't know if Drew saw it when he gets here, but I'm going to assume he did because he chose to join us to talk about it. So it will be a good discussion. And Dre, you'll have many questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk everything. We're going to talk the movie. It will be spoilers. This is the only way we can talk about this trash fire. I've talked about it three separate times now between streams and video. It's bad. Straight up bad. Not woke. Little preachy, but not woke.
Yeah.
But it's bad. It's bad. We will talk about the box office and the lies that are already being spun around the box.
Oh, did you hear about the new lie that the director said? We're going to talk about that?
The one from a couple of days ago where I was like, oh, we didn't do any reshoots?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's fucking obvious he did reshoots in that movie.
He claims that he didn't do any reshoots, man.
It's so sad. And the shield defense. The shield defense has already begun. And it's shameless. Even more shameless than my opener. Okay? So we got that. And then we're going to do this anyway because we have to keep prepping Jed for it. We will talk about the fact that Ubisoft has raised the white flag on Shadows. They have admitted you do not have to play both protagonists. You can, if you don't have, they've gone back to Syndicate, where if you want to play whatever you want until you have to do a story mission for them. Otherwise, you don't have to play this character. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal where we are with a month to go before release. So we'll talk that. And we got a couple of the warm-ups here. I got a couple of warm-ups. Give Drew a chance to get in here because I want him here for the Black Falcon Captain America. Let's start with this. This is an opinion. I want your opinion on this retarded statement from this idiot right here. We got a Disney stan. I always take every chance I can to piss on a Disney Star Wars stan. You know this. It's
really?
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Shocking. Dre, you're an old man like me. You were there. You know what real Star Wars looks like. You know the thoughts on it from the beginning. And Jed, you are educated. We can say that. He says
I pretend to be.
He says this. Talking about Luke, young Anakin, and then using them to try and justify Moray. Using the Force to guide a proton torpedo with inherent power in one lesson. Relying on the Force for fast reflexes to pilot with only inherent power, opening up to the Force and landing a couple of blows on an opponent in a lightsaber duel with only inherent power. It works. All right. This whole thing falls apart with his initial statement. Luke didn't guide the proton torpedoes into the Death Star. It used the Force for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a New Hope, if you watch in release order, not chronological order, but release order, Force telekinesis wasn't a thing yet in a New Hope.
That's correct.
But this moron's trying to create bullshit excuse that.
Even without it being in chronological order, we see, or in a release order, we see in Empire Strikes Back, him struggling to get the lightsaber into his hand in a life and death situation.
Right.
If he's struggling that much about one little piece of metal that's a foot away, there's no way that months before or a year before, he would be able to take control of 2 photon torpedoes in the middle of a space battle. Like, that's just unrealistic. And then it falls apart with the other statements as well. But we have evidence to say, even without the notion that telekinesis wasn't a thing yet in the universe, we still have in-universe stuff that contradicts this.
Yeah. I mean, Dre, you were there just like I was.
Yeah.
This has never been a thing to say that he guided the proton torpedoes.
No,
never.
It was about relying on a force that you do not understand because technology wasn't enough. When the original Star Wars was even being put together, this was like essentially trying to rely on in certain religious acts as Holy Spirit, as it were, if you were a Christian or if you were somebody of Israeli beliefs. A spirit that you do not completely comprehend, but it's a force that is higher than your own. And that was the idea behind shooting the proton torpedoes. And that's why the first set had failed when the first run went. But he had to really put the technology away and to rely on a force that he just started to believe in to give themselves the opportunity. So this person, whoever this person is.
Oh, this is Stan. This is a full-on Stan.
Yeah, they're huffing paint and don't know their history.
And you combine it with the fact also that he also practiced shooting at targets that size in Beggar's Canyon.
That's correct. That is correct.
Well, yeah, that applies to both him and Anakin. They both have experience in related fields. Anakin was a pod racer, which is, I think, a problem, but we'll take it as face value that he was a pod racer. And so, yeah, he trained in high tense situations where his reflexes would make or break the race and his life. Luke shooting small moving targets from a ways away. Like, there's a foundation to these skill sets that are just slightly enhanced by the Force. Exactly. Rey has zero foundation in even a related skill to make a Force enhancement make sense, especially because she's going up against someone who is trained in the use of the Force. These other two aren't going against people who are trained in the Force. By this point, Vader's already gone. Han already took care of Vader at this point, so he's not competing against someone who has the same abilities but is far more trained. And Anakin, he's fighting a bunch of droids. They're not exactly known for being smart in the prequels, but Kylo, at least as it's portrayed, was trained by Luke Skywalker at his prime, and then by Snoke through Palpatine and whatever. But that's person of training. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
none of that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, and this is Stan mentality, though. They will warp, they will twist, they will pervert anything to try and find a shaky leg to stand on to support their sequel trilogy bullshit. This is why we're winning. This is one of the most pathetic attempts at bolstering Rey as a significant Force wielder right away to defend her Force download. This is one of the most pathetic I've ever seen. And this is a guy who in the past said, I don't care what you think of my opinion. I love that. He's one of those. But will then also try and do this shit. So I just wanted to share that and get some opinions because I got a little bit of traction with that one. And I enjoyed my attack on this moron because they're morons. But we also have this. And this is another little thing that has, I guess, become real, where we live in this era, this day, where we don't want things we love from the past to be, let's just say, sodomized, desecrated, ruined any further, and not just in a reboot, but don't make a sequel 40 years later.
Agreed.
Don't do it. Oh, there we go. Got Drew. There we go. Hey, Drew. Welcome. We're warming up, so we got this. You're just right. So, we've got an announcement. They're gonna, and this has been going around forever, but now it's, I guess, semi-official that they're gonna make Goonies 2.
Oh God, I didn't hear this.
Is real. Come on.
It's from Deadline reporting it. That means the trial balloon is out. It's a trial balloon thing. Goonies 2.
Is this legal? How can they do this?
Legal.
I feel like this is just an extension of suddenly finding out the data is popular again. They tried it with his Love Hurts movie. He's suddenly popular, and nothing against him. He was great in Everything Everywhere All at Once. But this is just Disney trying to capitalize on him being popular right now for the first time in 30 years.
I guess. I mean, officially in the works. I mean, it's in the works. This doesn't mean it's going to happen, but just why? It says nobody asked for this.
0 people.
Nobody asked for this.
I love the Goonies, but you can't do Goonies grown up.
No, heck no.
Or recast.
What? I mean, are they going to?
Or in a digital world.
Yeah. Are they going to bring back Sloth?
Imagination.
Well, sloth is offensive.
Oh man. this nobody wants this. Nobody asked for it, and I mean the cast is all still alive. They're all alive, so I guess you could bring them back. I mean, I don't know. I just had to put this out there that this is a thing. It is real.
They're gonna pull something like we've seen before. Mikey is gonna continue to be a treasure hunter on his own, be a little bit estranged from everybody else, and then he's going to disappear on one of these treasure hunting missions, and it's going to be up to all their kids to go save it. That's what I predict for the plot. Mikey going to be like the Luke Skywalker, somehow missing.
Oh man,
that sounds like dog water.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I just wanted to put that out there. All right, so welcome, Drew. How you doing, man?
Good. Little cold up in the north. So, and it sounds like a lot of us are catching the cold too. So yeah, I mean,
feel like
I'm still healing, but
I hope I'm not. I haven't felt right all day today, so I hope I'm not getting sick. I really do. I don't want to get sick. It's been 2 years since I last got sick, so I don't want to get sick. It sucks. Anyway, okay. So now that Drew is here, let's get to the main event. Let's get to
thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, dude. Happy to have you. You can also catch Drew every Monday. Join me on Mellow Mondays. He's there, and I'll be on your show tonight too, won't I?
Yep. Pop Culture Patriots on Horny Elf channel.
All right, yeah. Well, we will. We'll come back to that later on the outros. All right. So, Black Falcon, Captain America, in his twittering brave new world. Drew, did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. All right. So 3 out of 4 of us. Dre, feel free to ask questions as we go along.
I'll just be here as Black Defense. That's
in your beautiful way. That when you see something, bring it up. Do we want to? All right, you know what? Let's start with the movie. Let's talk the movie, then we'll get into the news surrounding the movie. I watched it on Thursday. I dropped my review yesterday, on Friday, a couple different times. I've already detailed that. As we already said, this movie isn't woke. It's preachy, a little preachy, but it's straight up bad. It has serious plot problems. I didn't stress this much in my review, but Jed, you can agree the writing is abominable. The writing's abominable. Nobody's characters make sense in this movie. And is there a single moment of tension really once in this entire thing? Are you buying into what's going on at all? Because here's the story. I'm going to lay it out and I'm going to open it up to you guys. We've got President Ross is elected president, but he's trying to ditch his old angry man personality from before.
Which I just want to say real quick. Did William Hurt ever come across that way? Like, they did a flashback of Harrison Ford after the events of the Incredible Hulk with the mustache and the uniform, and he's just, like, screaming at the podium, like, being, like, almost angry all the time, portraying him as being Hulk-like this whole time.
No.
Just on the brink of anger. And William Hurt's portrayal always came across to me as cold anger, calculating, in control, wrong most of the time, but he was vastly intelligent and
callous.
Very callous. Like, I never thought William Hurt was going to lose his temper and start hitting random people, but they were acting like this was always what Thaddeus Ross was, and that was just so inconsistent. I couldn't buy that.
It was two different people, and obviously they recast in real world. It was a new person, Harrison Ford, which also elderly, and been in some stuff lately with the Indiana Jones, bonus one that nobody ever wanted. But yeah, it was a sequel to the Incredible Hulk of 2008, which I think was the first iteration. Was it the first movie or the second movie with that? I know they came out like at the same year.
It was after Iron Man 2. They released it after Iron Man 2. And
one.
No, they released it after Iron Man 1. It came out in 2008, the same year as the original Iron Man, but it takes place in 2011.
That's what I'm saying. It takes place after Iron Man.
It all takes place in Fury's big week, because Thor, the end of Iron Man 2, the end of Captain America 1, and the Incredible Hulk all happened in 1 week. That's what they retconned.
Yeah,
it all
but
happening.
The point is, like, his character knew what he was doing. He was leading the whole way. The Hulk, Edward Norton, was catching up with everything Thunderbolt Ross was doing. He was working with Emil, getting him set up with super soldier serum, and Yeah, and then he gets, they all get defeated at the end. And then we find out that he blames it all on
the leader
guy, who I don't think they called him the leader in the movie.
Nope, not once.
I don't think so.
Not once. And so he's president. He's trying to change his ways because he wants Betty back in his life. He wants to live Tyler back in his life. Who wouldn't want to live Tyler back in their life? I mean, come on.
Hello.
And then for some reason, we're going to bring back in the Celestial that popped out of the ocean. It's the source of adamantium.
The aborted fetus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened.
You're not wrong. And then suddenly, and here's one of the first problems of the obvious reshoots. For some reason, Sam's in a bar, and then suddenly he's on a mission.
Oh, and my favorite part about the sequence in the first 20 minutes of film, I think they call him Cap or Captain America 72 times.
They are constantly reinforcing, hey, Cap, hey, Cap, hey, Cap, hey, Cap, hey, Cap, hey, Cap.
I want someone to watch all 3 previous Captain America movies and find out how many times they called him Captain America or something like that. I imagine it's not that many. Like the entire film,
in
maybe
the field. Like in the field, they call him Cap. Like
in the field, but just across the entire movie, I would imagine most films have maybe 20 references to him being Cap or Captain America. This one had that much in the first 5 minutes.
Because we have to be constantly told because he's not Captain America.
No.
It's like somebody that's a boss that thinks they're the boss, but they're not the boss, so they keep calling themselves a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, we all know that is not Captain America. We rejected it when they started doing all new, all different years ago. Yep. It's not Captain America. He's Falcon. And I've been on record several times. Everybody that is down with Falcon should be offended that he is now being cosplayed as Captain America. And this version of Captain America, and I use that term very loosely, is even more offensive than the other ones. Because now he's fused with freaking Wakanda and
put a pin in that.
all that other crap. It's a useless.
Put a pin in that. All right, Drew, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know where I left off.
Oh, it's okay. You were saying something when I was like, all right. So Sam's on a mission to rescue a stolen package that we're going to learn later is the Japanese piece of adamantium they got from Celestial Island, what they're calling it. And this is where we encounter Juan Carlo Esposito's Sidewinder, who's part of Serpent. Not Serpent Society, just Serpent.
Just generic mercenary group.
And now we get our first introduction of Sam's combat ability in this movie. And if Dre, if you saw all the trailers, you saw the whole movie in the trailers, right? Right, guys?
Yeah, I figured as much.
You saw every fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Well, except the changed Red Hulk scene. Because as we learned on FNT, Gary let it out that they removed that shield punch block.
Mm-hmm.
That was in there originally, and he said that his sources told him they took that out. So
well, good.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, and the fight is still garbage.
It still doesn't make sense. The Hulk punches or jumps and pushes him through the entire White House, and Sam's just fine.
Anyway, so we get a shot of Sam's Falcon Captain America tech, and we see Sam try to fight people. And I'm going to make this statement now, as I've made it repeatedly before. Sam Wilson can't fight superpowered individuals because he can barely fight regular dudes.
100%.
Can't do it.
He has nothing.
What does it mean to be Captain America? Just have the shield, or does everybody have to believe you are? That's the thing, because he's got he's got his wings that he's had forever. That's Falcon.
Yeah.
And then he gets what? Stark upgrade technology.
Wakandan upgrade.
Well, first he got Stark with.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Civil War.
When he was Falcon, you're right. When he was Falcon.
Yeah. So he got that. That's another one. And then after Captain America and Winter Soldier, or whatever the name of the show was, that now he's got Wakanda on that ice skater type suit, the white one. And so now he's a different Wakanda, suit that repels.
It's got the kinetic repulsion tech in the wings. Yeah.
But he's still got the shield.
And so this is something I was talking with Adam about before the show, is Sam Wilson is absolutely nothing without his tech. Iron Man is at least a genius who can make new tech. As we see in several fight scenes in this film, Sam is barely holding up, like you said, against normal-ass dudes. He is not on the power level to be in the Avengers, really, and definitely not to lead them. He can't fight anyone of super strength or anything like that. The Hulk, he's not equipped to handle in reality. And the big fight, or the big climactic event that they're building towards with the end credit scene, whatever that's supposed to be, he is under equipped to handle anything like that. So yeah, he's nothing without a suit. So what work does he provide?
So when he gets beat down, he just bounces right back, comes back with a little cast, and then the next scene, he's good to go doing fighter jet, crazy Top Gun stuff.
Just surfing on rockets on the Indian Ocean.
Yep, I saw that part too. It made me.
So here's the thing. Drew just hinted at it, and I'm going to put this now. Whose movie is this?
Harrison Ford's.
Yes,
kind of, but he gets trampled on the whole time.
It's a general, but it's really a President Ross movie. It's his story. Tell me what is Sam's story in this, guys?
He's there
playing catch up,
wants to rescue Isaiah Bradley from his
propping up
incarceration.
Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. Okay, well, I just need to briefly talk about this. Isaiah Bradley clearly tries to assassinate the president of the United States. We find out later that it's more complicated than that, obviously. But Sam is angry at the president and everyone for arresting the man who, in front of 100 people, shot at the president. They need to put Isaiah in jail regardless during this while they figure it out. But he's like, that's so bad. He's black. Why would you do that?
Go back to jail? He can't go back in. Now, I wanted to make a joke during my review that he is just going to jail for being black, but the movie cut out anything that was probably related to that. It was in the original cuts. I guarantee that shit was in the original cuts, but they took that out.
Mm-hmm.
They took it out fast.
But yeah, it's baffling that he doesn't even say something like, I agree, put Isaiah away for right now as we conduct the investigation. That's just plain logic. And then
for safety too. Because even if, whether he did it or didn't do it, there's going to be people that would come after him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, just like the short little 4'10" lady said, she's like, we're going in solitary for your protection. It's like, all right,
it's just basic logic that is completely absent in this film.
It's both for their safety and his own safety, because at that point, when they understand there is mind control technology going on, you don't know the extent of. Because remember, as Jed, we were talking earlier, mind control is being introduced through Bucky as Winter Soldiers, but
everyone knows about the Red Room too.
Yeah,
mind control is an established part of this world. Everyone knows it, but they're acting like it's so ridiculous. Like, oh, you think it's mind control, you idiot?
We know that it can be activated through trigger words or trigger phrases.
Yeah. Everyone's been mind control. Like you said, the Widows, the Winter Soldier. They've done a lot of mind control in the past however many movies.
There's a lot of things that this movie seems to forget.
All the way back to Avengers. Loki's glow stick of power. The glow stick of power. Boom, can mind control you.
So you got to rule it out.
Yeah. So you don't know what kind of mind control this could be phrased. So it was for his own safety as well. So it doesn't make any sense. And the Isaiah Bradley, I know he's been around. I think I said I had the release frame wrong in my review. It was a lot longer back, but he's still a retcon. Isaiah Bradley is a retcon in the lore of Captain America.
Absolutely.
He's a retcon. He didn't exist until they wanted more representation.
100%.
Yeah, and that's fine. You can put him in the museum, give him the credit he deserves. Get rid of all the garbage that he got put through. Put it out there. Be transparent. But then, how many movies and shows do we got to talk about it?
There was a great line that I missed in my review, but was pointed out to me on Friday. Nobody knows about it, but then Falcon Jr., you guys calling him Taco Falcon, or whatever you guys are calling
Taco
him.
Bird.
Taco Bird. Okay. He's like, "Oh man, I love your legendary adventures." What?
No, so it's worse than that. So at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam had an exhibit of Isaiah Bradley added to the Smithsonian exhibit. So people know about it. And his whole thing was, we need to show the world exactly what happened to you, warts and all. That's his big thing. So Joaquin knows about these missions, okay, but he doesn't know what Isaiah looks like, even though the statue is added in the Smithsonian for him as well. Has no idea what Isaiah looks like, and has no idea that he was experimented on and locked in prison for 30 years. So Sam just did a shit job at telling the world. And that was the big emotional payoff of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is telling the world what the government did. And he did a very bad job at it.
That's a good point. Even though I didn't know that, because listen, I'll admit I didn't do my homework and watch that shit show. I watched other people watch it. They don't even do anything to properly connect it to their own shit show.
Oh God, no.
There's nothing that goes on. I mean, Emily Van Camp's Agent 13, Sharon Carter, she's gone. What was her point of making her a villain in that one if she doesn't appear in this?
Oh, she had to kill the female villain because Sam can't fight a woman.
No, well, Sam can't even fight a man. Let's be honest. So, but yeah, or definitely not
anybody
or anybody. He can't even fight his own depression. He needs Bucky to help him with that. Because he needed Bucky to come in. All right, so Dre, after a bunch of shit goes down later on, Sam's having a moment of doubt while Taco Bird is in surgery after trying to block a missile to hit
with his face.
He's not wrong. He's standing in the surgery theater watching it, and then Bucky comes in and says, "Steve didn't give you the shield because he needed you to be Hope. He gave it because he believed in you, and people aspire to be you."
That was what Sam was saying. Like, I should have taken the super soldier serum, and Bucky's like, "No. You need to be something that normal people can aspire to. Captain America needs to be a regular person, otherwise you can't aspire to be."
Like, and then suddenly he's a congressman.
Bucky's running for Congress, Dre.
What? But he can be a politician.
Yet when we get to Thunderbirds, he's clearly in Merc mode. In those Thunderbirds,
it doesn't make sense.
What's going on?
So the big explanation after Endgame why Bucky didn't get the shield is the excuse that they gave is Steve thought the world wouldn't accept him as Captain America because of all the evil things he'd done as the Winter Soldier, but they accept him being a politician. That's okay.
Really good, yeah.
Bro,
out.
He's got his hair cut. He's all prim and proper. He's in a suit, and that's why he won't help. He doesn't even offer to help in this, a war. A cataclysmic event
I have a
that's about to
question
happen.
that's very, very important.
Okay.
What's the plot of this film?
That's okay. Good question. We don't know because it's a fake mystery to find out who mind controlled Isaiah Bradley, but it's a mystery that gets solved in literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, I tried to figure it out with the whole adamantium team thing. And for one, does everybody watch the other the people in the MCU world watch the other movies?
Nope.
How do they know the name adamantium? Who named it? At least in Superman, Lois named kryptonite. And then how do they know what team it is? Did the Eternals go talk to everybody?
It took them 5 years to do anything with Celestial Island.
Yeah, the average public is like watching the MCU movies in the MCU movies, because how do they know information that we do? And they don't tell us. The writers could easily say, this happened, and in the since the Eternals. But no, it's Tiamat. It's a big thing in the middle of the ocean. Probably would have caused tidal waves and everything.
And that's what I said 5 years
that
ago.
core of the Earth, the whole gravity of the Earth.
Yep.
But no,
What is a celestial?
Yo, Drew, what you just said, like the entire multiverse saga, whatever they call that crap.
It's still going on, right? It's still happening.
It all should have been based around the what happened to the Eternals. The entire world should be exploding on so many different levels. Part of the Earth's core is missing.
Well, it has a big robot guy in a minute in 3,000 miles
out of
up
it
and downward. So how big is this?
From a scientific perspective,
guys,
losing part.
It's how we're getting adamantium into the MCU.
It's just a corpse, a fetus corpse. But yeah, Dre is absolutely right. From a scientific perspective, losing part of our core will affect our magnetosphere. It will affect gravity, weather patterns. Like it would fundamentally destroy life on Earth because of how big that thing is.
Of films and televisions, and no one. Not only have no one even affected, no one has mentioned it.
They did in She-Hulk. For half a
I'm not
second
talking about excerpts at the bottom of the page. I'm talking about there should be a look. Adam, you ain't gonna get that past me. You ain't gonna get that past me. I tortured myself that year. I've never every aspect of that stupid show burned into my skull. Okay, I'm talking about there should be films televisions, video games that are built around what the heck is happening to planet Earth because there's, I don't know, the core is missing.
But
not only that, also there's millions of scrolls running around.
Oh, forget that. That didn't happen.
You know, so it's like, so are we saying Secret Invasion didn't happen? Is Maria Hill still alive?
So yeah, Secret Invasion is actually important for how Harrison Ford becomes president, right?
Exactly.
Because
it makes sense for this movie.
Secret Invasion makes it clear that standing up against an alien invasion of shapeshifters will guarantee that president in that show is a one-term president, and apparently that's what happens, allowing Thaddeus Ross to run and become president. Because I totally believe that.
They don't mention it. We have to fill that in for ourselves.
They don't mention
homework
it,
YouTubers.
I totally believe that a scroll standing up against an alien shapeshifter invasion would make you a one-term president. That totally makes sense to me.
And becoming Red Hulk too, apparently. So we're just gonna have a series of one-term presidents.
All right, so Dre, it's what you would think this movie would be about securing adamantium.
Sure,
but it's not. But it's not.
It's an aside,
and that alone is dumb because now suddenly, like this much adamantium is in existence because that's all they've been able to mine out of it. That means Wolverine as Wolverine, not as Project X, Weapon X, doesn't exist. He doesn't even exist as Weapon X right now. There's no Wolverine as Weapon X, and you're this far into everything. That I knew that would get you. They don't even have enough adamantium to do him, to make Lady Deathstrike, to make what's the Russian one?
Omega Red.
Omega Red, thank you. Make Omega Red. They don't have
X-23.
X-23, yeah.
Yep.
They got nothing. There's not enough adamantium for all these different programs to have created their different Weapon X's.
So okay. So in main MCU, we already established that adamantium did not exist until
right now.
Until right this second.
And Japan's been controlling it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, Japan.
That's the big antagonistic force that we might go to war with in the film.
With
Japan.
big old
India and Paris.
India and Paris.
France. India and France. The treaty hinges. Okay, so President Ross, here's your story. President Ross wants to make a treaty so the world doesn't go to war over adamantium, and he needs France, India, and Japan in on it.
They don't even mention China because they want China to, buy tickets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Japan is the antagonist. Japan.
Yep.
Come on.
With their big old navy.
Well, with their navy, yeah. I mean, now this isn't our real world, so I can forgive that. It's a post-snap world, whatever, where things got realigned. I can accept that, but it's still France, India, and Japan are going to go to, and America are going to go to war over adamantium.
For what?
You would think that's the plot, and that maybe the leader wants to get the adamantium to do something with it.
Sure.
No, Dre, the whole plot of the movie is because the leader has beef with Ross for blaming the Hulk fight with Abomination on him in Harlem. They blame him for that, and then he locks him up for 18 years and mines his brain for science tech. Because here's the leader's superpower in this.
Oh, God.
The power of probability.
Get out of town, bro.
That's 100% what it is.
Come on.
And he's always talking about probabilities like, there's a 77% chance that you'll respond this way if I do this.
Well, that's his problem with Sam. Sam defies his probabilities.
Yep, that's Sam's superpower. Sam's unpredictable.
So that's the plot. Here are your 3 Frankenstein plots. Save Isaiah from his false incarceration of mind control assassination attempt. Find out who's behind it, which is the leader, and keep everybody from going to war over adamantium. And then a fight with President Ross, who turns into Red Hulk, who doesn't do it on his own way. I mean, Dre, in actual comic lore, Ross does it to himself.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
No, in this one, he had a heart condition he was dying from, and he went to his captured leader, scientist, to make him heart pills.
I'm done.
And he put gamma radiation in the pills.
I'm done.
That pissed me off as a science person. So when they break down the chemical analysis of these pills that Ross has been taking, the scientist on the phone just goes, "There's gamma rays in these. Someone's been eating gamma rays." I already knew that the MCU had no idea what gamma rays were, but that really solidified it for me. Gamma rays aren't physical things. You
They're
can't
not.
just put them in food. If he had said something like there is a radioactive substance in here emitting gamma radiation, that would make sense. But you can't just put gamma rays in it. That's like saying I put radio waves in your food and you start listening to country music.
Yeah.
It's not so, like you just hear country music in your head because you ate radio waves.
There's a reason why it's called rays. There's a reason why it's called that. So let me just make sure I'm not retarded.
Oh.
So the plot is the leader has been injecting, that's the only word I can probably
pills.
Pills.
Yeah, pills.
Pills, and he's been putting gamma radiation in these pills.
Yes.
Okay, here's my question. Why?
Because he wants to turn Ross into a Red Hulk so that he destroys everything and that ruins Ross's legacy.
Yep, the whole thing isn't to kill
his heart. He thinks it's an ongoing farm thing.
Wait.
From the guy that he has imprisoned.
Okay, so his plan, this is the leader. Now, my leader, which I have books of back there, is a super genius that is trying to prove always that brains are better than brawn. That is his whole ordeal, that I can rule the world, not with my muscles, but with my brain. This man decides to create another Hulk so he can ruin someone's legacy. So he's going to create one of the most powerful beings that the planet has ever seen to make the person look bad.
Dre, do you want to see what he looks like?
That's the revenge. Instead of killing the guy you want revenge
together yourself, like every 20 or 30 minutes, you got to like rethink what the plot of this is, or where are we going, or where are we now?
Yeah, I mean,
but he never calls himself the leader. He calls himself the hero or something.
Yeah, he does.
I'm the hero.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Someone asks who he is, and he says, "Isn't it obvious? I'm the hero."
Oh, God.
I mean, here I'm trying to get here. Here is Dre. I know this is what you know the leader traditionally looks like. This is what that's the leader. It's traditional look.
That is the leader.
I would accept this. Yeah. This would have been fun. They could have easily done something like this.
This is already out there, and it's just a screen cap. So I'm going to show it.
You can turn this off.
Chris Gore said he looked like what? Cauliflower head.
Yeah, it was.
And here's the thing too. Let me get this up. This is another evidence of reshoots, and I wish I had known this before I made my video, but I didn't learn about it until after, because I would have mentioned it in my review. Leaks. Here is the leader Funko Pop doll.
Ooh, Funko Pops.
Yeah, I know. I know. Control yourself, Dre. Control yourself. Let me get a good one here. Here, he gets a better picture. Here's the leader Funko Pop doll that they're selling right now. Wow. I think they did something during the reshoots, Jed, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What the heck is going on?
That looks better.
And Dre, just for more context, so if you watch the Hulk back in the day, he gets dripped on by the whatever, and then now in this movie,
the gamma blood,
yeah, they got more. He said Harrison Ford or whoever it was put more of it into him, enhanced it. So it was a laboratory guinea pig getting more and more to make him smarter or whatever. I don't know. It, like the way they piece this stuff together, it's like they want YouTubers to like fill in the dots. It's never good enough than what they put out.
The worst part of this is, it's a revenge plot that he wants to destroy the legacy, and he turns the guy he wants revenge into an impenetrable, unkillable super monster, right? But the bigger thing is, it doesn't destroy his legacy. If this were one of the first films in the MCU, you could see people being afraid and whatnot, but everyone knows who the Hulk is at this point in the time. This is 2027 when this takes place. Everyone knows, yes, you need to control a Hulk and be careful around a Hulk, absolutely, but Bruce Banner, the world knows, isn't responsible for some of the stuff he did initially as the Hulk, and he could learn to control it, and, there's hope for being a Hulk. The world knows this. It is common knowledge. Like Drew was pointing out, it seems like they all watch the movies in this world, but In this film, it's like, oh yeah, him just being a Hulk will destroy his legacy. Well, yeah, the leader, in a little audio message he gives to the White House before the Secret Service just opened fire on the president with zero hesitation, but he admits to doing this to President Ross. It's not even he did it to himself.
Yeah.
This doesn't affect his legacy. The whole world's gonna be like, yeah, that sucks. Some evil scientist dude experimented on the president, made him a Hulk. Yes, we should lock him up to make sure he's safe and, whatnot. But it doesn't affect his legacy. And the film ends with Sam being like, I'm so glad that you took responsibility for all your horrible actions, President Ross. And
what
it's
did
just
you
like,
do?
well, yeah, honestly, what did he do?
What happened was at the very end, first the leader tries to trigger him. His whole plan was to trigger Ross to become Red Hulk and the Indian Ocean and have him destroy the Japanese fleet. That was his plan. Okay. That was his plan, and it almost works. Except Sam and Taco Bird and Midget Widow, who we'll get into in a second. Midget Widow. Again, I wish I'd come up with that one during my review. I came up with that one on Friday. I just called her like Tiny Black Widow or something.
Her name's Betsara.
Well,
all bets are off.
Oh
God in heaven, help us.
I'm docking the pay. I don't pay you for that one.
Yeah, it's not my joke. I stole it from EFAP.
The president gets rid of everybody in the bunker, and then she comes in. She's like, she can stay, and it's like, who is this 10-year-old?
She's
head of security for the president.
Now, we before the reshoot, she was the Israeli superhero that exists in the in Marvel, but Disney are cowards, so they stripped that of her and just made her a widow. But an ex-widow. But as Drew pointed out, this chick is like barely 5 feet.
And 90 pounds wet, I think.
She like comes up to me, she's here.
She is tiny.
Here. She's tiny.
Is she in the trailer?
Yes. She's in the
trailer. She looks like Lila Hart.
She's so small, but this is as woke as the movie gets, because we have a moment of MCU. Because at one point, when Sam and Taco Bird they instantly find the black site where the leader is in West Virginia, and at the same time, so does Midget Widow. They all go there, and that's where the leader, in 5 seconds, reveals his master plan to everybody.
A lot of exposition.
And in a hallway fight where Sam and Taco Bird can barely handle regular soldier thugs, and Sam's throwing the Cap shield around like he's a freaking super soldier without any enhancements, without suit or anything. She arrives, and this little tiny person who's just a widow, no mutant powers, no superhuman abilities, just a widow, a trained black widow, manhandles 5 or 6 dudes like nobody's business in a hallway fight.
Yeah, she does better in this fight than Taco Bird and Sam together did.
Yeah, 2 military trained men. It's that. So that's like your moment of MCU, the last gasp of MCU right there. And
you see the lack of surprise on my face?
No, of course not. It was just that's just on top of everything bad in this. And then, but now back to it. So after the Indian Ocean thing, where Sam, Taco Bird, and Midget Widow show up at the last second to stop just 2 fighter pilots who have now been mind effed by the leader to attack the entire Japanese fleet. Just two F-15s. That's it. That's all. And Sam and Taco Bird fight the F-15s in a very bad CGI thing where Sam's power set with his suit that I still say, even though it's been pointed out to me, it's here, there, he still never puts hands on it once to take it with him. You never see him take his second suit because the first one got damaged. They fly around. He's showing off all these different techno power moves, that explanation of what they are, what they do, shooting vibranium feather blades, and he's got 2 drones now that shoot lasers. His wings still have the kinetic repulsion tech from Wakanda. He's got the nano mask that can move over his head.
That's Hulk proof, we find out.
Yeah,
or partially.
And he beats up the fighter jets. They stop missiles, and then.
But I gotta tell Bray about this real quick.
Go ahead.
So I mentioned it earlier, but so yeah, these two fighter jets are firing missiles at, I think it's the Japanese fleet at this point.
Yeah.
And there's one missile that's getting low to the ground, coming at one of the ships, right? And Sam literally lands on top of it and starts surfing it, and there's like splashes of water, and he's surfing a missile towards a ship before he takes it out. And then later on, he flies one of the F-15s after he gets the pilot out of there with a rope, and he's standing on the back, and he's basically surfing on this plane too through the air.
So it doesn't hit the ship.
So it doesn't kamikaze.
You're okay not seeing this movie.
Oh my god!
And then Taco Bird, like Jet said earlier, takes a missile in the face.
Yeah, he blocks a missile with his face.
That's excellent.
After being told not to, Sam's like, "Get out of there."
Yeah, he only has a basic level of Falcon technology or whatever.
Which something I talked about with Adam. So supposedly between the show and this, Sam got a second new suit, the one that he wears in the second half of the film, right? A new Wakandan vibranium that's even better, right? And he lets his sidekick wear the shitty old version that has no protective.
It doesn't even have Stark upgrades.
It is his original suit, basically.
Yeah,
what I would have done is, all right, I've got a brand new suit that's better. Here, let's take my white one, redesign it a little bit so it doesn't look like Captain America, and then you can have that one so you don't die when you take a missile to the face. And then I'll just start using the new one.
Or at least give him the Stark upgrade of one we see in Civil War, which is just as good.
Anything.
Doesn't.
Because remember, like you said before, Tony would, get in, make a suit, get in some trouble, and then upgrade it throughout every single film. With Thor and Avengers, it was messing him up, or whatever, the lightning. And he's like, okay, now I'm gonna do it where I can enhance it. Like he kept upgrading. So now every time Sam gets into trouble, he's got to go back to Wakanda and get an upgrade. And then somebody in another podcast be like, okay, does this armor like listen in on conversations when he's in the White House in the bunker, and does it do that and send it back to Wakanda? Does can you trust this technology? Important. Is it taking in data and information and sending it back to Mama
he
Wakanda?
Doesn't even need to do that. He's got his side piece works on the Secret Service for the
yeah. We never find out what their connection is. Some people thought it was his sister.
Yeah, I know. Drake. So there's this black chick who's part of the president's Secret Service detail, and she's apparently friends with Sam, and she's constantly talking to the president, even giving him sass at sometimes. Gives him sass a couple times. But at one point, Sam goes, "Don't worry." When talking about keeping track on what Ross is doing, I've got someone on the inside. So you've got a treasonous Secret Service person feeding information to a vigilante.
And Joaquin, a member of the Air Force, commits treason a few times.
Yeah, he easily hacks White House security.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah, he's like, "Yep, I'm in CCTV for the White House now."
Yeah, and I love the black Secret Service agent because as soon as President Ross becomes the Red Hulk for the first time, her and all her people with her just immediately open fire on the President of the United States, knowing full well what a Hulk is and that normal handguns will do nothing to a Hulk.
Why would they shoot?
All right. Well, so we're at that now. Now, the leader didn't get his wish, so he gets angry. And here's another point that I brought up that really bothers me.
Wait, hold on. I might have missed it. Where is the leader during all of this?
He's just roaming around. That's where I'm getting now. He's roaming around doing random shit. Because now, when he calls the president to and the president goes to the actual war site, he's on the ship in the Indian Ocean during the conflict because he's a wartime general.
And before that, the leader was in his base, his prison, where he was experimenting on, but he has control of all the security that's keeping him in the prison until Sam gets there. I guess he was waiting for Sam to get there to dump a bunch of.
Well, he didn't want Sam to get there. He thought attacking Isaiah would turn him away.
Right, but he was still chilling there.
And then he kills a random admiral and just sets up in his house.
That's the point. In order to call the president, which is a sign that this is a weird cut. We don't know what cut this is from. He goes to some house, says, "Hello, Admiral," kills the admiral and his entire family just to make a phone call to President Ross in the Indian Ocean. And some would say, well, and some would say, well, maybe he needed the admiral's codes to get into that. No, because already 2 scenes prior, he had called the president on Air Force One. So
Directly.
You have him kill a bunch of people in a house for no reason. None. Why? What's happened? So, and then he kills all the SEAL team that is analyzing the pills for Sam or something like that, or helping
they just
Sam.
randomly commit treason too.
Yeah.
The film doesn't address it. So these Marines, I think they were, helped Sam at the beginning of the film in Mexico, and then Sam's like, I met these dudes 5 minutes ago. They're totally trustworthy. He calls them up, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll go against the president's orders and help you.
And so he kills them before they can tell Sam what the pills do, but Sam already knew the pills did something. And then the leader shows up to tell Sam exactly what the pills do.
What the heck is this?
And then the leader hacks the audio at a press conference at the White House in the Rose Garden, so to play his conversation, as Jed said, that he had on the plane with the president, explaining everything, showing that Ross is not at fault for anything whatsoever, in order to make Ross angry enough to turn into Red Hulk. And he does. And then Sam shows up. And I don't know how he showed up there, because when he was talking to the leader, he didn't have his gear on. So he fast travels to get his gear.
There is clear evidence of reshoots. No matter what the director is lying about, there are clear evidence of it in scenes like that, in the suit swapping, and just people changing their entire outlooks in an entire scene, just like that. Their dialogue switches on a dime.
Yeah. And then you have this ridiculous fight with Sam and Red Hulk, where he just flies around and blocks him with his wings and for the kinetic thing. And when he gets that first one, he goes, oh damn, but the wings completely absorbed the punch, but he's afraid. He never uses the shield. They cut the little block thing out, like I said earlier, and he just flies around, and he leads him on a merry chase. And Red Hulk is trashing everything, destroys half the White House, trashes roads, buildings, trees, equipment, everything. Also that he can lead Ross to some cherry trees, because Ross earlier in the movie said, all I want to do is take Betty for a walk on the cherry trees like we did when she was a kid.
Well, they're in DC, the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, cherry blossoms. Yeah. And just so he can then talk him down.
Hey, stop talking. Stop.
I thought Betty...
After we see his wide array of tech that we have no actual breakdown for, bullets are bouncing off, but the vibranium feather blades are going to stab him. And then after Hulk rips off one wing, he takes all the kinetic energy stored in the other one and fires it through the feather blade into Red Hulk. And then Red Hulk still survives that. And before he can destroy them and everybody else that is suddenly on scene in that moment, he's like, wait, I know you could kill me with one punch, but just remember your daughter. Just remember your daughter. You're a good man. Show us you can change. And then the sun's going down, big guy, and he returns to Harrison.
I thought Betty was going to show, like, a midget widow was going to go out to get Betty and then bring her there, and then she was going to do the sun's getting real low.
I mean, is Betty in this movie?
Yes. Liv Tyler has a 1-minute cameo at the very end that everybody says was probably in front of a green screen, because now Ross resigns in order to heal the nation.
Because he did so many things wrong. I mean, he kept the leader locked up.
He's not a villain.
He's not. They act like he is, but all he wants in the film is to make a peace treaty to keep the world at peace, to prevent a war, and gets poisoned to become the Hulk. That's what he does wrong. I mean,
confused on what he did.
Nothing.
Why is he resigning?
Because
he locked up the leader.
Of a Hulk. He's afraid of a Hulk.
He locked up the leader. The leader then poisoned him. He then became a Hulk.
Yeah.
He's a victim.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But he had to resign because, as mentioned earlier, somebody in the chat mentioned, this was likely a lot of Trump stuff tied into it, and they had to
cut out some references.
More orange man bad nonsense.
Dre, you remember the Raft from Civil War, how it was portrayed in that movie? Right. Do you think the Raft, as it was designed, without any redesigns, would be capable of containing a Hulk?
A Hulk? No.
That's where he ends up in the end, and that's where Betty's cameo is in the Raft, and he's in the same cells that everyone else is, with glass and everything. That doesn't make sense. He needs a Hulk prison, and I believe that Ross would have a Hulk prison on hand because of all his worries back in the day about Bruce.
Yeah.
Why is he in prison? He didn't do anything.
Because the nation has to heal, Dre. The nation has to heal.
Accepted responsibility for his actions.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
No.
That's
And
the
then-
problem. And the
then-
whole talking him down nonsense, it would make more sense. And I use this term very loosely. If it was his daughter that talked him down, like if somebody brought his daughter and was like, "Hey, Dad, you're better than this," something.
Yep, but no, it had to be Sam without the super soldier serum to talk him down and say, sun's getting real red right now. Something. It's like,
God, I hate everything.
Yeah.
Why is he in this movie? Everything you all explained to me.
We've essentially laid out most of the movie for you.
Yeah. None of this has anything to do with him.
Thank you. This is not even it's not a Captain America movie because Captain America's not in it. It's not even a Sam Wilson movie.
You literally could replace him with any other character, and the film would have played out the exact same way.
This sounds like there are elements of a Hulk movie in here that would have made a whole lot more sense. But no. And then, like we mentioned earlier, then you have to have Joachim in bed waking up next to Sam, just like Steve woke up next to Sam in Winter Soldier. And you have to have Joachim cry a little bit. Taco Bird, that's Taco Bird.
Oh, I saw it in chat. I think it should be a Taco Tucan. I kind of like that.
Oh, I like alliteration, but I can't do that.
But Dre, that scene is so much worse.
Sam. Toucan Sam.
Toucan Sam.
Toucan and the Sam.
Yo.
But Dre, so yeah, Joaquin tries to stop a missile with his face, ends up in the hospital. At the end, he wakes up and Sam's there, right? Just like Winter Soldier. But it's so much worse than that, because as he's crying, he's like, "I feel like I let you down, Sam. I wasn't good enough. But you're always on top of things. You're always perfect. You never do anything wrong." And then Sam goes, instead of comforting him and say, "Hey, man, you did a great job. I'm proud of you." Anything like that to make this guy feel better, he goes, "I have to be perfect all the time. Otherwise, I'm letting down the people who want a spot at the table too." And I'm just thinking, oh, that's a horrible thing to say to this guy who thinks he just failed. You're doubling down and making him feel worse, but the movie doesn't even acknowledge that. Somehow it makes Joaquin feel better to be told, yeah, you let everyone down who wanted to be with you.
By Ant-Man, a couple years ago.
There are plenty of things to make him feel better. Instead, he says probably one of the worst things ever is basically, yes, you let everyone down who could have been my sidekick instead of you.
And Taco Bird has to affirm Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Has to affirm him. You're so great. I love you, man.
See, this is my problem. Well, I have a lot of problems. Yeah. But one of the problems I have is for the culture speeches. Now, for those that are uninitiated, that is usually coined by Black folks, basically saying that we're going to do random nonsense for the sake of elevating the Black culture. It is an expression that I hate more than just about anything else. All of that is a for the culture film. Everything that you explained to me is a film that has nothing to do with, and I'm with Sam Wilson. It's got nothing to do with him at all. He plays no role in this film whatsoever. This could have been a Hulk movie for all we know or care. Replace him with Bruce Banner. I think you get the exact same film, essentially. Everything about this is a complete and utter waste of time and energy. If you really wanted him to have a Captain America moment, well, first and foremost, do not include Hulk and Hulk adjacent characters.
Yeah.
Am I retarded?
Well, no, you're not. No single character in this movie has any real connection to Sam Wilson. None of them. I mean, go back to Civil War. Sam spends all of 10 seconds sharing screen time with William Hurt's General Secretary Ross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, and he acts like he knows him so well in this movie.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, Ross will never change. Ross is always going to be the horrible human being he's always been. It's like, Ross hasn't done a whole lot that's wrong. Like, everything Ross has done up to this point is justifiable and explainable from his perspective. That's why I loved Ross as a character in the previous films. Like, we understood him. Yes, he was antagonistic in The Incredible Hulk, but he came to see the error of his ways in that movie and helped Bruce take down the Abomination. Yep. And there was always complexity to his character. He was just a military man losing control on a world that he understood and could compete within and doing the best he could. It was never portrayed as he's this big bad who is always going to murder people because he feels like it. Even in Civil War, half the people agreed with him to a certain extent. I mean,
Yeah.
but Iron Man didn't agree with him and, went against him in the end, but it was still a complicated character that it was never clear cut he's a bad guy. And that he was just fascinating because of that. I would have loved to see more William Hurt in other movies as well.
Yeah, of course.
But this version is just like, we all know he's the worst human being alive, and they even
But
make
where
references.
Are they getting that from? That's my question.
There's nothing. There's no actual meat to this movie. That's why I said it's shallow, it's soulless, it's empty, it's not even fluff. It's just this light little sprinkling of crap.
Yeah, and that's why I'm very confused on this heel turn that they're making him do, because throughout all of the other MCU films, he's not a bad guy. He's being put into certain circumstances, and he handles some things militarily. Even like one of my favorite movies is Civil War. I think that's arguably the best MCU film ever put on the screen, in my personal opinion.
I would say I like.
Everybody has their own opinion.
It's great. It is great.
But Civil War is up there.
Yeah.
All the complexities, everything makes sense when you follow it, especially from his point of view. At the time, he was secretary. He was Secretary of Defense in Civil War.
Yeah, he was like that.
Yeah, he's Secretary of Defense. People are dying, and these are American citizens that are committing these atrocities, incidentally or not. He is put into an impossible situation. He's glad to have them clean up the mess, but now things have gotten out of hand, and now the nation is demanding retribution. So he then puts in effect the Sokovia Accords. Yes, he is the antagonistic person of the film. Yes, but at the same time, is he wrong? No, it's a moral quandary.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a villain. So the idea that, he's always been a bad person, what films are they watching?
I mean, he makes you go back to Incredible Hulk, he makes bad decisions in that movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes bad takes, but he's doing it from the perspective of, I'm trying to stop threats.
Yes.
And he's a dick. He is a dick too.
Oh yeah.
But being a dick doesn't make you bad.
That's correct.
So this whole thing, this movie is just a mess. And honestly, Jay Fraser was up. They should have brought in Sam Elliott. That would have been an easier acceptance for bringing him to be Ross.
Or a new younger guy that could play, if they're going to do Red Hulk for longer, because Harrison Ford, either got to pay him a lot of money and you're not going to get a great performance.
There's a rumor he's contracted to come back right now. I just saw it this morning.
And they cancel contracts too.
I know.
Yeah.
But and on top of everything, Jed, gun to your head, could you even hum a bar of this Nothing soundtrack?
Oh God, no! It didn't even use motifs from previous films. I don't even remember hearing music.
Yeah, I mean, go back to all three real Captain America movies, even the first one, but even more so, Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Winter Soldier is one of the most epic freaking soundtracks in the MCU.
That's a good movie.
That is the soundtrack is. I'll tell you, and Civil War is a great soundtrack too. So I mean, this one, it's again, gun to my head, pay me $1 million. I couldn't hum a note of this soundtrack. So this movie is it's a disaster of a movie, and people trying to defend it saying, I don't care anybody says, I liked it. Tell me why.
Yeah, I haven't heard any good positive reviews that have any details of why. I've heard same with like the Marvels. I heard it's fun. All I hear is like from these reviewers that can't be objective say it was fun. It was fun.
So
well, can we talk about two quick scenes for Dre?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Just very, very quickly. So the end credit scene, the only one of the film, has Sam visiting the leader and the raft because you want to keep the leader and President Ross together. That makes sense. But he goes to the leader, and the leader's like, oh, you're not prepared for what's coming. I see it written out in the probabilities clear as day. You have no chance against the multiversal threats that are coming. And then he just randomly goes, the others are coming. And that's the big tease that we get. Others are coming.
It's a bad tease for Doomsday and Secret War.
I think that is one of the worst end credit scenes that we've gotten thus far, and provides the least information about future projects. I think the only one that provided less information was the Homecoming one, but at least that one was funny. Like the meaning of patience, Captain America little ad, that thing is funny. But this is just like, others are coming. Well, no shit, other villains are coming in the future.
Any more things for future movies. Don't pay them off. Like Chris Gore said it. He's like, how about we get a film that pays off every single one of the previous?
Yeah.
That's something people would actually go to. And then it ends. It doesn't, continue. Oh, wait for Secret Wars. Wait for Doomsday. Wait for this.
That would be
But
nice.
no, it'd be good to have these after credit ones that just be like, all right, we're putting a close on the past stuff.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Well,
Have
no,
a
because
series of those. Have a Marvel one-shot type stuff.
no, because now we got Thunderbolts without Thunderbolt Ross coming in.
And it's an asterisk, so they might not
Yeah.
call themselves.
Well, and the other quick scene is I mentioned that people change their portrayals and scenes on a dime, and it's clear evidence of reshoots. But the best example of that is after the assassination attempt, after Isaiah is captured, Sam barges into the presidential bunker, and everyone's like, no, you can't come in here, but does nothing to stop him. He barges into a press conference or a conference room with the president, and President Ross is just like, hey, yep, everyone out. I want to talk to him on our own. He's being very nice. He's respectful. He's like, I want to hear what Sam has to say, but he has a midget widow stay in the room too. And throughout this whole conversation, he's like, I get what you're saying, Sam. I just want to hear her report too to see, does she have any evidence? Okay. He's being incredibly reasonable through the first part of the scene. He hears what a midget widow's saying, and he's still being like, Sam, I get what you're saying, but the evidence is strong against Isaiah. We have this for him. Incredibly reasonable. And then all of a sudden he goes, you're not Steve Rogers. You're fired. I don't want to do the Avengers with you anymore. And starts like screaming at Sam on a dime for no reason whatsoever. And that happens a lot. Just in the middle of a scene, it feels like a stitched in from a different version of the script where it was an argument.
Well, they also edited that from the trailer. Because remember, in the trailer he says, you're not Steve Rogers. And Sam goes, yeah, I'm not Steve Rogers.
Yeah, he just growls.
That's gone.
And that was not in there at all.
Yeah,
so just like he got cucked. It's like, I guess I'm not Steve Rogers. So I got to spend the rest of the movie proving that I am not. I'm better. And no, Dre, how that got started, it was the president brought him in and said, hey, Sam, I want to start up the Avengers again. So you go do that now. And then they just walk away and he goes into the presentation and gets shot at. And then afterwards, like Jed said, he's like, I don't want to do the Avengers anymore. What was implied. He's like, get out of here. So it's just like, what are we doing here? It's not cohesive at all.
It's a Frankenstein monster movie is what it is. Stitched together.
It showed that there were actually 3 films filmed. That's the reality.
We don't even know
what the director's a liar.
Yeah, we don't even know what the original movie for this was anymore. We don't.
Heck no.
No idea. No idea. I couldn't pay me. So that's the movie in a very convoluted nutshell. Before we talk about the next part of this discussion, Dom H for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Dom. Much appreciated, my friend. And you know what? Before we go any further, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, wait, wrong tab. There it is. Okay, hang on. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to give some gifties as well. Here you go, guys. 5 more gifties. There you go, guys. 5 more gifties for you guys. There you go. Because I can do that twice a month. Enjoy it. When you get a membership to this channel, you get access to all my old gaming streams, which are basically dozens and dozens of hours of me playing shit. You can just chill out to it. A lot of good stuff. So thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope you guys are having a good time. Hit that like button. And now we've talked about the movie itself. Now it's time to talk about what's coming next. We're now going to sit back and watch this thing fail financially and critically because the defense for this movie has been very, very weak. We already knew going into this that they pulled out the bullshit idea that this thing cost only $180 million to make.
No way.
They ran that fake ass story for about a week before the premiere, and the shills in the stands, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. That's what they run with, and now they're going to try and tell us that that's the deal. So they set the stage with that, and they start to predict, oh, it's going to have a good opening weekend. Don't worry, blah blah blah. Well, we have our numbers, our Sunday privilege, the box office for Black Falcon. Captain America flittering around in his brave new world. Here we go. 88 million domestic.
This is a wrap.
92 international. Now, Jed and I were talking about this before. They are trying to run a lie and saying it's 192 worldwide. Where did they get $12 million? They're saying 4-day weekend. Where? It's only been Thursday was 12 million. And if we go down here, it's accounted for already.
Mm-hmm. It's counted, and they're acting like it isn't. But yeah, they're just lying.
For the 4-day weekend, 88 million domestic.
That's crazy.
And you want to say 92 million? All major markets international have gotten this movie. Europe, China, the rest of Asia, they got it. All major markets have this movie. 92 million international. This thing, I said, I'm on the record, between 300 to 400 million. I don't know if it makes 300 because the word of mouth is going to sink. I expect a massive drop-off next weekend. Massive.
It's going to be pretty big. I think it can make it to 400. There's no way in hell it's going to 500, but 200. It's usually about half of its box office these days in the opening weekend. So I can see it limping there, but we really have to see the drop off next week. If it's like a 70-75% drop off, which Marvel has had in the past, you're 100% correct. It's going to struggle to get 350. But Adam, you saw they were bragging that this is the third highest opening weekend for a Captain America film.
It's got a better score than First Avenger. It's doing great here. Don't worry, guys. It's got this. It's got that. It's already on the road to making 425 million. Where the hell do you get that 425 is its break even with the fake ass number? No,
I mean with the fake ass number, I can see that be the break.
But that's the fake ass number.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fake ass number.
But I just want to point out that I did the math on it. So they were bragging that it's the third highest grossing Captain America film out of 4 Captain America films.
Yeah.
It beat the first Avenger, Captain America's first film, by $20 million. I actually did the inflation calculation for that.
Adjust it for inflation.
I did. So when you adjust it for inflation, it's only a $3 million difference rather than a $20 million difference. Brave New World made $3 million more opening weekend, adjusted for inflation, than the first Captain America movie in 2011 did. Yeah, don't brag about that. And that was phase 1. That was before a lot of people realized what was going on.
It's still Paramount. It's not Marvel Studios. It's not
you don't brag about beating phase 1 films. And its opening weekend is 20 million less than Ant-Man 3. And we saw how Ant-Man 3 played out.
Jesus H.
And that was 2 years ago. I couldn't believe it. Like that was the last one I remember seeing. I guess I saw the Marvels and fell asleep and started listening.
I didn't watch that one.
On it. That was just rough to get through. And it was short though, so I couldn't wait for it to end, and then it eventually ended. Yeah, but yeah, that was a choppy thing, just like this one was.
So here we go. And as I pointed out, they're already running lies with this. They're already trying to tell us that this thing is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
They have to.
And so we have, I mean, look at these. Let's go back and look at the actual breakdown of box office. A Saturday of only 27 million. A Sunday today of expected only 21 million. These are pathetic numbers. This is not going to get anybody any sort of blockbuster anything. And we know the reality of what this costs. Nearly $400 million if anything. That means in reality, it needs $1 billion to break even almost. They're going to lose their shirt on this. They know it. But what I don't get is nobody's blind. Everybody understands this stuff. I do not understand even pushing the blatant lies. I mean, where do you get 4-day 100 million? Here's the numbers right here. I can add. That's 88 million total.
The only thing I could say that they might be scratching at is tickets that are sold for Monday. And I think that's the only thing. I'm just trying to be rational. Now I know they're not, but I'm just trying to be rational. Like they're trying to think of like Monday numbers of like if it's already been sold, like tickets already been sold. They already see.
Yeah,
for
but they're trying
to
to say that tomorrow's a holiday and they'll get money. I mean, who's going to go see this movie on a Monday holiday right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make 12 million tomorrow. I think legitimately what happened is what they're trying to do is they thought that 88 million was the 3-day weekend, and they're like, oh yeah, but then we just have to add in the Thursday previews, and that does equal 100 million. They're just either stupid or hoping that the people watching are stupid and don't realize that they're pulling that chicanery.
Yeah.
Because those numbers do line up if they add in the Thursday previews to that 88.
Yeah, but the way the numbers works, this website, it always gives you the total of everything on that day. So there's the total.
They just looked at the headline and didn't think any farther than that. Or they hoped we wouldn't.
But I want to go back to the international. 92 million with every major market release.
That's crazy.
I want to know how well it did in China, because they worked hard in China, Red outlining him, making it where Japan's the villain instead of China, which would have made more sense.
Right now, usually international in these situations, it's like 130, 140, 150. And these opening ones, you didn't even break 100 million. This is a very bad sign for this movie. And like I said between 300, 400 million. I don't think it gets to the 400. I think if anything, it barely gets over 300 million when all is said and done. Because now that everybody has watched it in some way, shape, or form this weekend, and the news is out, and we don't believe the Rotten Tomatoes score of 79%, because we know Rotten Tomatoes is full of shit. Thanks to MCU with the original Captain Marvel movie, there is no positive, like you said, Drew said he hasn't seen any positive commentary on this. It's all been critical, and they have no substance, no actual defense for this movie, except now, how long before we're called racists? How long? 24, 48 hours?
I mean, Monday.
It's already been starting. I've already seen a few.
Yeah, really? Okay, you've seen it. Okay, so now they're drawing their only thing they can do. It's doing badly because of racism, because people don't like
give me
Sam
a
Wilson.
break.
I think that, not 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, 6 years ago, when the MCU was still strong, if we'd gotten a Falcon movie with Anthony Mackie, a villain that made sense, well written, it would have done better than this.
Yes.
People like the Falcon. Anthony Mackie, not so much in this film because of what he's given, but he is a charismatic dude who I think can hold up a movie on his own, can be a leading man. Not a massive leading man, nothing like that, but I think he would have done decently well, like kind of Ant-Man levels. Paul Rudd can carry a film better than him, but an actual Falcon movie in Phase 3, I think would have done pretty well, because he was well liked after Winter Soldier and Civil War, especially.
It would have been a great street level movie.
Yeah, I would love to have seen maybe during the events between Civil War and Infinity War, a movie set in that time where we just find out what he's doing. He maybe needs to break off from Captain America, go into hiding. They're all doing their own things for a little while, and he's on the run.
Credit score up. Get along.
What would have made sense, and if they had a movie where Sam is going after Crossbones before he shows up in Civil War.
That's what I was thinking.
There we go. That's something.
He needs his own villains, not
Yeah.
Hulk villains, not Captain America villains, Or if you're going to go straight into Captain America, give him Red Skull then. Bring Red Skull back, because he's been in every Captain America thing. I don't suggest that, but this whole thing of like mix and matching villains and doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, Crossbones is a great idea.
Yeah, because they had beef in Winter Soldier. They have
they did
against each other.
Yeah, they fought.
Yeah, they have a fight scene. So that would have been a great thing to do before Civil War if you wanted to get one more movie in and give Falcon a chance to shine.
And who was that?
Frank Grillo.
Yeah,
Frank
he's
Grillo,
awesome.
Yeah. So that would have worked, but no. We have to play this mantle bullshit. We have to play that bullshit, and we have to erase Steve Rogers. Now, somebody pointed out, I missed this. I forgot about it except the trailers. There was supposed to be a funeral scene that was shown in the trailers.
That was one of the first things that they filmed too.
So people theorized that that's supposed to be the death of Steve, old man Steve, who
Some
Old
people
Man
thought
Steve, and I'm going to say it again, so people like when I say it, who got old in a different historical timeline, not the MCU timeline. He got old in a different one, not this one.
Well, did he go back to his timeline?
Yeah, at the very end of
the moon.
At the end,
We don't know.
I don't.
We don't see him go away. He could have stayed in this timeline as an old man.
In Endgame, he's still Old Man Steve in this timeline because, like, his Peggy in that timeline died, and the Peggy in this timeline was already dead. So, I mean, that's we're not going to get into.
See, another plot thing. See, after Endgame happened, Endgame was fine. Like, I liked Infinity War, like most people. Endgame was good. It put a bow on everything.
Yeah.
And so if they would have just shelved it like they used to do with Star Wars, Endgame would have been just fine. And they could come back in 5 or 10 years later, recast everybody, or do something.
Start with the X-Men.
Everything you said is what I said in 2019.
Yeah,
I was on record on 2019, right after Endgame came out, and I think the Spider-Man,
right away, Far From
Home, Baby Mama, whatever that movie was called.
Yeah,
I was on a podcast, and I went on record. I said, "Yeah, the MCU needs to take 5 years off." I was excoriated on that joint. They were like, "Oh, you're crazy! They're to hide their power." I said, "No. Listen to me. Hear my words." They told a very masterful way of telling a story over a 10-year time span. And now you've put a nice, neat little bow. Give it time to breathe, and now craft a new story that can then follow. And if you want to keep your connected formula, then they drop bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb.
And here we
Then
are.
5 years later, it was in 2024 last year. I said, well, we would have just been getting started right now, and it would have been a fever pitch, and everybody would have been excited.
Yeah, I mean,
but instead,
listen,
you pissed away the entire franchise.
I say every time, I like Endgame warts and all. I like
it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the timeline would actually make sense because they don't talk about it in this film. This film takes place in 2027. They're still having to release stuff that takes place a little bit in the future to make up for the blip. And it's just confusing people at this point. We need contemporary to make the most sense, or at least so far removed, like Captain America: The First Avenger, that it's not a problem. But yeah, you would have gotten through the blip if you'd taken a 5-year break, and that would have worked a lot better.
So now, this movie, as I've been talking about, this now sets the stage for the rest of the year. This is going to be a bomb, a massive bomb. They can spin it all they want. It's not going to work. And we are now coming up on the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is next. Nobody cares. And then you've got Fantastic Four in baby steps. So that thing, and we've said our piece in that. We're gonna, until we get another trailer, we are not gonna bring Fantastic Four baby steps up. We will talk about another trailer because we've said our piece on that. Thunderbolts, we ignore it because everybody's gonna ignore that. Honestly, I Thunderbolts is going to do worse than this, I think, because nobody cares. This was a spectacle that we all wanted to look at. I'm not watching Thunderbolts. I'm not reviewing Thunderbolts.
Well, who's the draw for Thunderbolts? I can see a few people being interested in Harrison Ford for this film. A few, not like enough to make a big difference, but that is a draw for this film.
You don't want to go see Florence Pew Pew, who is actually taller than Midget Widow, and that's the thing. Midget Widow is actually smaller than Florence Pew Pew.
I think Midget Widow is 90 pounds soaking wet if she's lucky.
Yeah.
She is tiny.
Yeah. So you're right. There's no draw for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, no one cares about Sentry. It's not like they're introducing a massive new character that normies would be familiar with.
Everybody likes Bucky, but he's been done dirty at this point. And he's going to get done dirty worse. In that
when was the last time he was done well? I'd say Civil War. I mean, they didn't do anything bad with him in Infinity War. He was just such a small role.
Time. He was muscle in that movie. He was just muscle.
It was he had some funny interactions with Rocket, but yeah, it's not substantive enough to call done well. But yeah, Civil War I think did great with him. That was the last time I think, almost 10 years ago.
That was a story that he was involved in. He was part of it. It was part of the actual arc. So they've got nothing. They're in for a rough year. The MCU's got crap TV shows they're going to roll out. They have to roll out Ironheart. It's going to happen.
Is that still happening?
Yes.
It's been complete for like 3 years.
Yeah, they showed the longest time ago. It was done before.
Tax right off and be happy. Jesus.
It was done before Wakanda Forever. And the only bright spot they have is Daredevil. But that's not going to save anything. Even if Daredevil is the greatest thing ever, Reborn is Days of there. It's not going to change or save anything. That movie exists in a bubble essentially. It doesn't affect the MCU at large. So they're in for a rough rest of the year now. And I can't wait to just shit on it at every turn. I'll get my jaw. Hell, I still got episodes of Spider-Man. I'm one with the way the rest of the week worked out, I still got to do one episode from last week.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from it.
It's horrible. It's dumb. It's written by people who don't understand Spider-Man at all. It's terrible.
Well, I saw recently that the Asian chick found out that he was Spider-Man and got mad that he didn't tell her or something after knowing him for a month and him being Spider-Man for a month. 6 months.
Okay, no, here's the thing. They make in that show, they make a big deal about, she's like, we've been besties forever. We've got each other's back. Bitch, you known him for 6 months. You don't know him. He barely knows you. It's that, and she gets all bad. She makes it all. Nico is one of the worst characters I've ever seen. At least this interpretation of her. She's a selfish, narcissistic big bitch. Everything's about her, and she's obnoxious to everybody. She's angry that Pete didn't tell her because reasons.
That's always like the strategy that they go with. Like, why didn't you tell me before? And then we got to go through this whole thing. It was like, it's for your safety. I didn't want to do it. That's what I like that in Arrow, what they did differently was when Thea finds out, or Oliver tells Thea, brings her down to the Arrow cave, which I think should be called the Quiver. That was in one of the shows where it's like the Quiver is better than the Arrow cave.
Yeah, that was a good joke.
And Thea's just walking around. I thought she was just going to be a brat and be like, why didn't you tell me, blah, blah. But no, she's like, wow, that must have been difficult to hold that secret against everybody else, and so like, it feels good to see that, that kind of change because it makes sense. And it's not the normal, just like, you should have told me because why not? And nothing bad will ever happen from that.
Yeah.
And mentioning that real quick, what did you guys think of the Falcon cave?
You mean the room?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, it was a room with a giant glass window that had the star on it. That was pretty pathetic, honestly.
Jesus Christ.
Listen.
I heard some people saying that it should be called the bird's nest or the crow's nest or something like that, nest-related pun.
It should be.
But it's just a room.
And it's like, how did you afford that now? I mean, if you're going
to couldn't get a loan.
Like you can't afford a boat loan because of, and the bank guy was like, well, didn't Tony pay you this? Be like, I mean, that would make sense. And they don't have VA loans in this. He's a veteran. Like, I don't go.
Yeah.
I just can't even with like
they don't care about having anything make sense. They just don't.
No,
they don't. So it's gonna suck.
Too big. It's somebody said before, it's too big to succeed. They can't keep incorporating everything and keep it low level and not have the super soldier serum. Like who has the super soldier serum right now? Bucky,
US agent.
Yeah.
Captain America, wherever he is, whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever he's at, they don't tell you. And then who else? Like there's
all the Flag Smashers died.
Guys, or did they all die?
I think they all died. I don't remember. The main chick did at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just like John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Harrison Ford in this film, they were just regular ass dudes doing the best they could and never did anything really wrong. And we were just told they're the evilest people, the evil for no reason whatsoever.
Because he killed a terrorist guy. I mean, did Falcon or the Captain America Falcon guy kill people with the shield in the first couple scenes? Like he was dismantling
I was looking
with the shield. Like that shield doesn't just bounce off your neck and you're okay with it. Like
yeah, he killed people in this movie.
Yeah. So it's like if that's okay, then what John Walker did especially was fine.
Yeah, he killed a terrorist who murdered his best friend seconds ago, and then Falcon breaks his arm to take the shield from him.
You have to understand that terrorist was a socialist, so it's okay.
And it's true.
Jesus,
it's fine. All right, so this shit's bad. MC is going to be bad the rest of the year, and we'll be here to make fun of it. We will, but we got one more thing here today. We got one more thing, and I know Jed is just going to enjoy this one. We have been documenting that Ubisoft is about to crash and burn hard. We're a little over a month away from Shadows on the 20th. I was corrected by Dermy yesterday on Saturday. It is the 20th, and the next day Snow White comes out, just for the record.
Oh my God.
It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun week. So March 20th, Shadows comes out. We have been documenting this, talking about this and that, and how they're going to try and soften the blow. And this week, Ubisoft raised the white flag. Dre, how long have we been covering with them pushing Yasuke on us? Since
it was announced.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was announced.
They wanted us to know that Yasuke was it. He was the man. You were going to play as him, this and that. He's historically accurate as far as they're concerned. It's going to be great. And then we got this earlier in the week. Oh, you don't have to. You can ignore one of the protagonists. You're not missing out if you ignore everything for them. You'll only have to play them if it's story oriented.
Well, yeah, they would. The clarification is it's actually giving you more freedom than Syndicate did. Syndicate, there were certain missions that were related to certain characters. They clearly say in this, the only missions that you have to play as one character or the other is their individual quest line, side quests. There are like a side quest developing their backstory and whatnot, and like 5 of them each. So that's 5 quests versus the 100 others that you could do. You could go through this game and do the main story and never play Yasuke or whatever. I've been watching too much Witcher.
So I mean, this is the white. This is a white flag. They gave up.
How easy would that be to change, Dre? I know, like we talked about a few months ago, they can't rewrite the film or rebuild it in time, but changing some of the requirements for missions, stuff like this, where you only have to play them in side quests.
You have to change the whole game. Period. If the only way this would function, if this joint wasn't initially considered a 2 protagonist game, if somebody was a skin essentially, but since they play 2 differently, one is stealthy and one's a brute, you have to change the entire game. So if they've made 2 separate quest lines for these characters, which I'm going to assume that they did, you either have to cut 50%. I'm just doing rough numbers here just for simplicity. Cut 50% of your game and then leave it out, or alter another 50%. Those are your only options.
So Dre, if they did this, they just spent a lot of fucking money to do this, didn't they?
The budget of this the budget of this game has definitely just ballooned exponentially, especially with the 2 delays since last year, if memory serves me correct.
Originally October, then February, then March.
Yeah, cool. So with those 2 added delays, meaning that at least if I'm just going to be fair, let's say it's a new build per week, maybe 2 GMCs at that point. The budget of this game has definitely increased at least between 100 and 130 million dollars.
Oh, they said it was only 20 million.
Yeah, they're lying.
What, they said 20 million?
They're lying.
For the last pushback.
They're lying.
Let's go to 20 million. That's all.
Yeah, they're lying. Clearly, they're lying. So the total will be about 130 million dollars. If they want to say the last pushback was a 20 million, let's just say it's true. Then the first pushback was 110. Right. Those are the kind of numbers you have to play with, especially when in this case it's releasing on PC, PS5, and Xbox. If memory,
I think it's
a full cross-platform.
Yeah. So that's 3 different GMCs that have to be sent to Microsoft, Sony, or Microsoft twice, and then Sony once, which has to be accepted by those 3 entities. If it has been rejected, which I'm going to assume it has been several times, that means you have to pay again to try to get another disc candidate. So with the production, with the adding of new things or cutting of certain things, quest changes, we're definitely in the $100 million range easily. $130 million over these 2 pushbacks easily. So
yeah,
I don't know. They're talking about 20 million. What? 20 million for what? 1 quest? Maybe. What are you talking about?
So what are we thinking the total budget would be? $500 million?
Oh no, I don't think it'll be
Quite that high. 400 maybe.
Maybe, but this is what I will say. They're never going to give us the full numbers, but this is definitely going to be one of the most expensive games ever made.
Yeah,
it might be second only to what was it?
GTA 6. Well, GTA 6.
Well, outside of GTA,
that doesn't count.
Yeah, outside of that, that joint's going to be $1 billion game.
They've already admitted it's like $2 billion.
But that joint's probably going to make $40 billion. Okay,
eventually.
Yeah, eventually over its lifetime, it's going to make that money back. But this one's probably probably $450-500 million, maybe. That would be my assumption based on what I've seen.
I mean,
either way, it's gonna be a huge mountain to climb to try to make money off this game. It's gonna be a huge mountain.
I still think they're gonna sell probably in the launch 5 million units because it's an Assassin's Creed game. The normies are gonna get a portion of the normies are gonna get suckered by this.
Well, there are those Stan accounts that are releasing footage from the game and acting like it's so brilliant. It's like, look, it's such good water effects. Look at her on this boat, and I'm like, yeah, Origins looks just as good. Like they're bragging about 10-year-old effects.
Yeah.
What did you say? You said 1 million, right, Adam?
I said 5 million. I think they're gonna move 5 million units when all is said and
done. 5 million units. Oh, when it's all said and done, or initially?
Like in the first month.
I can see 5 million in a month for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last big game, because Mirage doesn't count, it's a DLC, but Valhalla sold 20 million in the first few months.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the highest selling Assassin's Creed game at that point. Anything less than half of that, it's going to be a massive failure if it's 5 in the first month. That's still abysmal by comparison to what the franchise has been recently.
So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, and within a month's time, this junk sells 5 million copies. So, and let's just say, and we're just going to use the round numbers as far as $70 per game. So, because some people are going to get the deluxe edition, what? So we're staring down the barrel of $350 million within a month's time. That's a failure.
They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Well, listen. When we get to this over the next few months, we will watch it. We'll watch it fail, and then we're on bankruptcy watch.
Yeah, that's the real watch. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Drew, do you play any Assassin's Creed games? Have you played any?
Any of which ones?
Assassin's Creed.
I played the American Revolution one.
Okay,
so I was never big into it. I just jumped in for the theme of American Revolution,
and that's like the weakest one at that point.
Really? Of the original ones, yeah.
That's like
what would you recommend?
Oh, the Ezio trilogy.
The Ezio trilogy and Black Flag was the one that came out right after the one you played 3. Black Flag is the pirate one. That one's just incredible. I think that one's a good entry point into the series because you get some of the mechanics. It's lighter on world building, so you don't get overwhelmed with it. But I'd say 4, and then the Ezio trilogy 100%. I love the Ezio trilogy. Yeah. Especially Revelations. A lot of people act like that's the worst of the 3, but that's my favorite of the 3.
But Black Flag is like pirate. So
yeah,
pirates.
That's the pirate one. Yeah,
pirate.
And it takes place before 3, so it's the prequel to 3.
Yeah, in 3, do you remember the Templar you played in the prologue?
Yep.
It's about 4 is about his dad.
Okay,
he's the pirate in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. 3's a lot, and it's a great game. I enjoyed that one. 4, I enjoyed Black Flag a lot. But yeah, so these games. I think because of the nostalgia of Assassin's Creed, there'll be some level of normie interest because they're not following us all. They don't know what we're talking about. They won't know going in, but then people are going to buy it. And if this thing's, for all they've done, this thing's still going to be bug-ridden as hell because it's Ubisoft.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's not even fun bugs. Like Bethesda and Skyrim, those are fun bugs. They're entertaining bugs. Every other studio's bugs are just game breaking.
Yeah. So here we go. It's gonna be bad. We're gonna keep an eye on it because we've been covering it. This is a legitimate story we've been covering for a year now, waiting for this damn thing to come out. And I want to get to the bankruptcy. I want to see what happens when they go bankrupt and they have to start selling pieces off. See what happens. Gonna happen.
It'd be beautiful.
Let's get to the end game here. Let's get to the back.
I hope someone good gets their hands on the Assassin's Creed IP because unlike a lot of other franchises, there's literally limitless potential in a franchise like this. There are many historical periods that are left to be explored. There's always a great conflict meet between Abstergo and the Brotherhood in the modern day. Like, there's so much left to be explored that I want more games in the Assassin's Creed franchise by competent people. It's not one of those franchises where it's like, yeah, I loved, the original Mass Effect trilogy, but I'm worried about additions to it. So I really hope someone of competence acquires the IP.
We'll see
when all is said and done.
I doubt it's going to happen. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll look forward to that. All right, we're done. But I need to address some stuff in the chat before we go. There's some stuff going on in the chat here. First of all, let me make sure I get the right one. First of all, let's not be bringing Melomonde's crap here. All right, we're not going to bring that hose crap here. We're not doing that. All right.
It is pretty sad, though, honestly.
Oh, God. Now you guys are going to come out with this shit.
I just say.
Excuse me, if everywhere I ever went, people provided me with beverages. So I didn't have to drink from a goddamn hose. All right?
You grew up in the 60s, man. You can't have gone through those decades without having done it.
At all.
Like, the 2000s is when that started being a weird thing. To drink from the hose. You're way too old to have lived your life without doing it.
I'm not going to drink from a hose. And at the same time, I never banned you. I never banned you at all. You know this. Lies and slander. Lies and slander. All right? And at the same
Welcome
time...
back for your unbanning.
Yeah. I never banned her in her life. And at the same time, I have said this many times. The motorboating is from a show called Alia Sometimes Expresses Her Feelings in Russian. I've said that many times. I've never hidden that fact. It's a great little show, actually. So I've never banned Ariel. I don't drink from a hose, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. And the first part is from Food Wars season 1. Yeah, season one. Anyway, okay. Unless you guys got anything else you want to toss out, we're gonna end it. I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel strong about that. So let's go around the horn, pitch our wares, and go about our Sundays. Jed.
Well, you can all find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. After doing so much Witcher content in the last week, I am taking a break. So the only thing I have coming up is Saturday Night Drive-In, the Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, which Adam will get more into. But if you haven't checked out the Witcher content I've done thus far, please check it out. I have a review, a live stream, and a watch-along where you get to watch Adam, A Devil Made Me Do It, Dermy Wormy, Rachel, and myself suffer through Sirens of the Deep. And I had no copyright issues with it. Yep. I put up the entire movie basically, and Netflix doesn't care.
We did MSTK3 that whole thing, so it was completely transformative.
It's very transformative. And I had to do edits on it to cover it up and whatnot, so I'm not too surprised. But yeah, you can basically watch the whole movie without giving Netflix a view.
We didn't shut up for like 2 minutes during that. We were just complaining the entire time. It was terrible. Dre.
So this week, actually tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, got a brand new interview with a new independent comic creator. It's going to be really, really exciting. Very, very happy to be putting somebody else on. That will be on the Brutal Playing Comics YouTube channel. Yeah, what else is going on this week? On the on the Brute Plays channel, hopefully we'll have a couple more challengers for some Pokemon battles this week. If that does go down, I'll have those up on that channel on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you can follow me on X Twitter at TheBrute00. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, do all those great stuff.
All right. And Drew, pimp your wares.
Yeah. Just want to promote our show. Second episode is tonight, 7 Eastern, all the other ones. But yeah, it's on Horny Owl's channel. We're going to start switching over to my new channel, which I just set up, Physical Media Warriors.
Nice.
Physical Media Warriors. I sub to you. You're my first sub.
So, all right. Well, I'll put here. Put your link in the private chat. And let's get it up here, and I'll add it to the description.
Yep. That's gonna be more of my pop culture stuff. My other channel is Operation Outstanding in Field, where I do adaptive sports, speaking engagements for veterans, and other things like that. But Pop Culture Patriots tonight. Horny Elf channel. Adam's gonna be on. ABF is gonna be on, It's basically a small panel, and we just kind of get into it, kind of like this show. But we'll have some fun too. Play some games.
All right. So I'm looking forward to that. So as Drew said, I'll be there at 7 p.m. tonight. But before that, let me also just put this up here. I should have done it at the beginning of the stream, but I didn't. I'm going to pin this right now. If you haven't voted yet on Drive-In's Chat Choice movie for the first quarter, the poll is up. We're going to extend it another week till this time next week. Give you guys a chance to all get your votes in there. You choose it. Jed and I will watch it the following week. But for this week on Drive-In, I was going to go a certain way, but I felt like we needed to wash the bad taste of Brave New World out of our mouths. So we're going to do Winter Soldier this week on Drive-In.
Awesome. I got that too. I got the trilogy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Winter Soldier this week on Drive-In. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. And then for the rest of this week, like I said, I still got crap Spider-Man to roll out. We don't know what anything else might happen this week, so we gird our loins and prepare for it is what we do. We've still got Ballbusters. We're coming up on Ballbusters 100 in 3 weeks, where Dermy has a mystery box he's going to open. We have no idea what's inside. We have theories. Involve, certain maybe phallic shaped devices, or possibly a Sonichu or Dermachu medallion might be in there.
Whatever it is, it's cursed.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be cursed, and we're gonna laugh because he's gonna open it up and he's gonna have to touch it, whatever it is. So it's gonna be funny. And we don't know who sent him the box either. We don't know because the return address was ripped off. Well, that's in 3 weeks, March 7th, Ballbusters 100. We've got Anime Odyssey. Is it next week? No, in 2 weeks, we've got Anime Odyssey. I don't remember the anime Dermy's making me watch this time around. I'll have to look that up. And also, that weekend of Ballbusters 100, I'll announce it now. I'll get more into details as we get closer. On March 8th, I will be doing a 12-hour stream. It's a necessary 12-hour stream. I'll make that clear as we get closer to it, which will also roll into another Ballbusters gaming night. That night, we're going back to more Among Us, where enemies are friends and friends are enemies and things are sus and a lot of unfortunate things get said. And I will throw Dermy under the bus again if I have to. I will do it. And he will listen, if you didn't see it last time, I took a gamble and it didn't pay off. And Dermy almost rage quit the entire thing. He almost threw a massive tantrum. It would have been glorious. Said a lot of gamer words would have been said. It would have been great. So we're doing it Among Us. So join us for that. And I just saw that. Hang on. I did see that Ariel asked a question. Has anybody seen Transformers 1? No, I did not. I have no interest in that garbage at all.
Oh, I've seen that mess.
You did? Okay, mess. I think you just made your point clear. Listen, all right. And also, yes, Double D High School is fantastic. We are not talking Bible Black ever. That is let's not bring this Mellow Monday stuff here. This is a clean show. It's a proper show where I go on rants about porn. Okay. I will stand by that clip. It's a great clip. I love it. Anyway, so there it is. And then we'll be back here next Sunday. You can also catch Mellow Monday tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. Drew will be there. I'll be there. Sam will be there. Devil will be there. Who knows who else might be there? It's always an open door. So we'll have a good time tomorrow night chilling out. And it will happen this week. Nothing is getting in the way this week. It'll happen. I've gotten enough sleep. Unless I suddenly am super sick. If I am coming down with something and I am in complete dog shit feeling, that's the only thing I'm canceling. We will have it tomorrow night. I got stuff to talk about those times. So we will be back here then next week, roundtable, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, one and all. Thanks for Drew hanging out with us this afternoon. And thank you, chat. We love you. We appreciate you. Without you, we don't get to do this. We thank your support is what keeps us going. And we will see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night wherever you may be.